In this video, I'm going to show you how you can have a solid wood workbench top without spending a hell of a lot of money for those nice maple tops. In my case, I use this as a general purpose workbench, sometimes even as an anvil, which is straight metal, not just destroys your bench anyway. So I ripped this from 2x material. I have some severe limitations on how thick and how thin I can go with this, because I use this to clamp pieces to. Do not have very large clamps. By ripping them thinner like this, you can compensate for any warpage, because they bend pretty easily. Be careful of these knots here. Try to get pieces that don't have knots. In my case, I kind of like the look of the knots, so I'm gonna have to plane areas that don't have the knots and sand down the ones that do. It's gonna be a lot more work if you have knots, because if you try to use a hand plane on your knots, it tends to chip and or dent the blade. After you get done ripping these pieces, what I like to do is take some 60 grit or otherwise super coarse sandpaper and kind of sand down the saw marks a little bit. You're not going to be sanding it all the way down, as that's just unnecessary. You're kind of scuffing up the surface for any of the areas where the saw didn't leave saw marks, and kind of polished it. That way the glue can really grab onto this stuff. Since it's such a soft wood, it needs to have a much larger contact area. You can either use a power sander and just move very quickly, or you can just use a little sanding block. The reason why I use these large nails here is I had put this Durham water putty on here, and my pneumatic 18 gauge brad nailer, it's just too hard to get through. It just takes a hard right whenever it encounters it. Barely even scratches it, so never use water putty on anything you want to nail, screw, or drill through, because I've hit this stuff with my drill bits and it just instantly dulls it. Alright, now we're going to put these boards on. If I haven't mentioned this already, you're going to need a ton of glue. So even though I have this, it's just a small bottle that I refill from the gallon, which is a whole lot cheaper. Put in your nails beforehand, and leave your pieces long enough so it overhangs so you can flush cut. Since this is an 8-foot long bench, I just did cut them a little bit longer than 4 feet. I'm doing half at a time so I don't have to try to rush before the glue starts getting tacky and get the whole thing on. As far as using a crap ton of glue, it's better to have a little bit of squeeze out than not apply enough. Because you're only going to get one shot at this. Nothing's worse than when you're sanding on your bench and you have a board that's just slightly loose and vibrates like crazy. Alright, after a whole bunch of planing and sanding, you'll get something that kind of looks like this. A few things I've learned is that taking sawdust and Danish oil, after a few coats it starts to match this, but if you mix the sawdust and Danish oil, but if you don't put Danish oil on the wood first, it'll suck all the Danish oil out of the sawdust and screw that up. As far as flattening it goes, all you need is something straight and long and a feeler gauge. You mark the high spots where they start and stop, so you end up with a pattern like this. You connect the lines, and I like to scribble in between them so I can kind of see them like islands. And then you shave down the islands until it's flat surface.